Hi, my name is Allison Field, and I want to welcome you to my Create Your Blank vlog, where I share topics and stories that are important, and you creating your own blank and different areas of your life. So, welcome. So, this month's blog, the first blog of this month, was all about the energy levels of motherhood. And this blog is all about energy interplay about those energy levels and how do you want to actually do motherhood. And you know Motherhood is all right. So let me just say something. So at the beginning, I always create these vlogs from my heart, and I have notes that so I won't forget anything. So if it's splotchy or interrupted, it's because I'm generating it from my heart. So these are not edited, and they are for you. So I'm looking at my notes, make sure I cover everything. So motherhood is often, I find, very reactive. So although I wasn't a bio mother, I was a foster mother for a couple of years. And then I also had a nonprofit organization with teen moms and their children. And I feel like we raised over 16 years over 1,000 children with 800 teen moms. So I have some experience with parenthood and motherhood. But anyway, so what have found over the years is motherhood is very reactive, can be very reactive rather than intentional. They're reacting to everyday situations. Their children are running here and there, and they're managing a multitude of activity all at the same time. So I think that it often becomes reactive rather than proactive and rather than intentional. And most, mothers are responding to whatever shows up, and they're trying to keep up and up and up and up, and it's exhausting. So it can be an amazing new experience to start to create your blank as your mother, as being a mother. And how do you want that to go? How do you want to choose your motherhood experience? So setting the tone. So this is not about fixing what may be wrong, or I don't even like using that word, fixing whatever you're doing or not doing. This is not about that. This vlog is all about giving you support and tools on how to become more aware of what's actually going on so that you can lean in and intentionally start creating what you want versus being at the effect of. Now, having said that, you might think, oh, what the hell is going on? What the F does she know? Well, and that would be correct, because what it is about you tuning in to what's going to work for you and focusing on some of the things you can do to support yourself and being the kind of mother that you want to be rather than being at the effect of it. So we all fall into a default pattern, with motherhood. It's like you do what I say and not as I do. Actually, not as I do. That would be funny. But it can be, your default patterns are often derived from how you were raised. And so it's an opportunity to lean in and say, okay, so I'm aware of these patterns. I'm aware that these might not be working for me, but this is how I was raised and I want to do it different. How can I do it different? How can I set this up? What do I do? And it can feel like that. So most parenting advice focuses on problems. Problems are conflicts. And if you listen to my first blog this month about the energy levels, the conflict level is level 2. So if we operate as a parent, from level 2, it's always looking at the problem and looking at what's wrong, right, wrong, good and bad. And that just puts you on the side of, I win as a parent, you lose as my kid, but the problem never really gets resolved. So most parenting advice you'll find starts with the problem in mind. And that therein lies the issue, is that if you operate that there's a problem, there will be a problem, and you will find a problem, and you will find more problems. And that is all energy. So you have the ability to shift it and look at, how can I do this from a level 5 versus a level 2? And a level 5 is a win-win situation. How can I move forward? Instead of me saying, you need to do this, you could operate and say, okay, so I want to do this from a level 5. And level 5 would be, how can I create a win-win? So if you want your kid to clean up their room, and they want to go outside and play, and you want to give them choices, and you create a win-win. You have to come up with 2 choices that are reasonable for you, you're willing to go for, and you give them options. You can clean your room now, or you can clean your room. You can go out and play and then come back and clean your room. So both choices are acceptable to you, and you could come up with any ones you want. But both choices are acceptable to you, and they can choose which one they want to do. So you can practice that, and that can make a huge difference. That was taught by Love and Logic, and I taught that workshop for our teen parents for years, and we use Love and Logic, and it's really been helpful to all the moms that I've worked with in giving their kids choices to make. And then so I was just making sure I wasn't missing anything in my notes. So doing motherhood. So the key is, I think, create the kind of mother you want to be. Like, you could do this as a journal exercise, and you could just write to yourself and say, I'm going to intentionally decide how I want to be a mother. And I like to think of it as, how do I want my kids to know me? Do I want them to know me as a dictator operating at level 2 all the time and not giving them any choice of the matter? Just do what I say and shut up. Or do I want to be the kind of mother that really creates opportunities for my children, creates, an area where they can see, this is how mommy's solving the problems, and they learn, wow, I can solve problems the same way, and if you share with them your journey, that is also very helpful, because I think kids, think, oh, well, mommy's, whatever she says is gold. Well, sometimes not. Sometimes our choices are not that great. And then we pass that down, like, and so we want to make sure that we're creating our motherhood experience intentionally, and share that with your kids. Mommy's, say you've been operating at level 2, which I call the little dictator mommy, and you've been operating there and it's working, but it's scaring your kids. They're operating from a place of fear instead of love. And you can decide, how do I want to be as a mom? Do I want to, create more love? That would be level 4, is putting more love towards the situation, more giving, more understanding, without really. Level 4 is a little bit trying to fix things too. You know the best way, and you're going to fix your kids. And sometimes that can backfire and cause, feelings of level 1 or 2 if they're not doing the thing you want them to do. So that can cause some issues. And then in deciding and journaling about how you want to be a mom, you just, decide and practice. Give yourself love and grace as you're going through the process of creating a different experience for you and creating a different experience for your kids. And a lot of that is just awareness on your part. And it's a practice. We're not intended to be perfect mothers. This is not intended to say you got to do this or that, but it's giving you more space and grace to create how you want to be a mom versus just reaction. And then connecting with your vision. So before your journal exercise of creating how you want to be a mom, I would go into a meditation and ask my spirit team, Gus team, God, universe, spirit, to help me decide, help me start choosing how I want to be a mother, and help me write my narrative about the kind of mother I want to be. And if you do the meditation, you get yourself quiet, you do some breathing exercises in through your nose, out through your mouth, then you connect with your inner wisdom and help that guide the kind of mother you want to be. Then when you come out of the meditation, immediately start writing down whatever thoughts came to mind, and you can know if you're not picking it apart, you're generating it from your spirit. So that's always good to know. And then how setting intentions changes your daily experience. Just watch and notice the change in your kids. So your kids, let's just say for an example, your kids are used to you yelling and screaming all day long. You do this, you do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you approach it differently. And, you can choose what energy level. I find the best way to shift from level 2, anger and conflict, is to go to level 4. How can I support my child in understanding what I need better? That's a great place to stand when you're trying to shift out of that, dictatorial level 2 situation. And then if you're stuck in level 1 of I will never do it right, there's always another way. There's always a different way to look at that. And I use level 5 to support me in that and coming up with new possibilities and new opportunities of working together with my child to have things go differently. And again, it's your awareness around the energy levels I find very helpful to choose what action I want to take next. So, and the ripple effect with your child and your family is going to be amazing when you start noticing, wow, this really is helping. This is really working with my awareness and setting intentions around, what kind of mother I want to be. And, there's no fear of doing it wrong. I mean, I think moms are always scared that they're going to mess up their kids or do something that's going to affect them forever. And it's really about tuning into your heart, tuning into what kind of mother you want to be. And you can't do it wrong. I mean, there's things that don't go as well as you want. There's an opportunity always to do it differently. And your kids are going to be very resilient, and they are on their own path as well as you are on your own path. So what's important is to prioritize, how you want to do motherhood and the ways that you can do it differently. And so when you're setting in a motherhood intention statement, it might be like, my intention for being a mother is, and I'm going to generate this. My intention is to be the kind of mother that is supportive and loving and always thinking of new ways of doing things and new possibilities and ways to play together and work together and do things. And I want to be the kind of mom that my kid always comes to me in love. And even if they're afraid, they're coming to me to ask me for support and guidance. That's the kind of mom I want to be. So it doesn't have to be a really big statement. It just needs to be from your heart and really tune into what is going to work best for you. And so when you have a set intention and you don't honor that, it's just an opportunity to check in. Hey, I wasn't fulfilling my whole intention when I said that thing or did that thing. And it's not about making a mistake or mistakes or not doing it right. It's about noticing when you mess up and then cleaning it up. And you say to your child, I am so sorry I yelled at you. That was not my intention to yell at you. I am working on doing it different. And I just want you to know that I'm aware that, that doesn't work for me anymore. And you just own it. You own your intention of being a better parent, and your child is going to even love you more and appreciate that, hey, mommy doesn't always do it right, which means I don't always have to do it right and be perfect. We can mess up and then also be great, and it's just part of our learning experience. So it's something that you can partner with your child to do together, and you just create different opportunities for communication to show up in ways that are more supportive. So this is an invitation for you to intentionally create your motherhood journey. And this is evolving. We're not out for perfection. And the call to action is, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you need support in a coaching environment, you can reach out to me. Information will be in the show notes. So thank you so much for watching. Happy exploring your energy around motherhood, and it's fun, and it can be very adventurous and enlightening as you practice this in your own world. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and happy Mother's Day.